How to Get Your Shit Together. Written and narrated by Zachary Phillips. Preface. If you or someone you know is at risk, seek professional help immediately. Disclaimer. Before you dive into this book, I need to make one thing clear. I'm not a therapist, counsellor, psychologist, psychiatrist, or any other form of mental health professional. The information in this book will be helpful for some, but not for others. Reading this book does not, in any way, replace the services of a mental health professional. I encourage you to employ the services of the best therapist you can find. Their insights, experience, and wisdom will be invaluable throughout your journey of life. The contents of this book are to be taken as a guide. They are suggestions of things that you could consider, not prescriptions of what you must do. Given the above disclaimer, what right do I have to talk about mental health, trauma, and the recovery process? And why would anybody listen to me talk about what it takes to find meaning and follow your dreams? Put simply, I have lived experience with transforming my own life from a place of barely surviving to passionately thriving. I also have years of hands-on experience as a teacher, coach, and online instructor. The combination of my experience and skills has resulted in thousands of people online finding value through my blogs, poetry, video courses, and podcasts, where I share the process by which I make successful changes in my life. This book is the cumulation of these lessons. Lived experience. My childhood was traumatic. My father was an addict, paranoid schizophrenic, chronic hoarder, and a drug dealer. I can't remember much of this time, but I do know that I was abused and neglected. I ended up moving out of home at 15 and have been managing the ramifications ever since. At my lowest points, I was suicidal, used intoxicants, and committed self-harm in an attempt to cope with the mental turmoil. I had no goals and was barely functional. It felt like my mental illnesses were a multi-headed hydra. I would solve one problem, only to be confronted by another. I would grow in functionality in one area, and then become crippled in another. In order to paint a complete picture of where I've come from, I will share my diagnostic history below. However, I want to highlight that I'm not at all a fan of the practice, for reasons that I'll soon make clear. Early on, it was suggested that I might be suffering from anxiety and depression. Later it changed to obsessive-compulsive disorder, or adult autism. Then it changed once more to potentially being attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or borderline personality disorder. Regardless, I found that when I was given a certain diagnosis, I was viewed almost entirely through that lens. Every behavior, thought, or issue that fit the diagnosis was accepted as proof of the diagnosis. And everything outside of the criteria was dismissed as irrelevant. There is something insidious about being diagnosed. While it validates your experiences, it also locks you into a way of thinking that can cause stagnation. You start to believe that you can't improve, or that because people with your condition struggle with certain things, you will too. You start to see yourself as the disorder first, and as a person second. A good therapist will let you know that a diagnosis is just a convenient label to be used as a starting point. From there, they will use your symptoms, personality, and history to guide treatment. The overall goal of this should be to improve functionality, not to paint you into a diagnostic box. Currently, my mental health team is working with the assumption that I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Given my past and the changing nature of my mental afflictions, this diagnosis seems to be a good fit. Regardless of the diagnosis, the treatment is working. My functionality is improving, and I'm increasingly content with my life, and I'm following my dreams. I don't care what I have. I care about my ability to live, work, and enjoy life, to be able to connect with my friends and family, and to pursue my interests. Teaching experience. I've always had a passion for teaching and sharing the knowledge that has helped me. I've always worked the best in the roughest schools, with the most challenging students. I understood them in a way most teachers didn't. We shared a similar past. However, traditional teaching has limitations.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?